Do you want to succeed, or do you want an excuse for your failure? So often, Citizen Concerned has tried to encourage members of the audience to reach for success by adopting certain beneficial habits and cultures and avoiding the opposite. Some of the saddest responses to this message have been, the reason why we can't do what you're saying is our past or our race. Or, why are you not addressing what happened to us under apartheid? Or, we can't just succeed after years of trauma. And many more.
His future looked brighter than ever had it not been for one discouraging reality.
When I was at varsity, I had a database of companies that I had contacted. I sent letters to those companies requesting to do internships with them. And they would tell me that, look, we do not have space for you.
Out of desperation, a highly qualified Lotta searched for a job in retail.
And yes, your failures may indeed be excusable, but unfortunately for you, the excuses will not help you succeed. It may be a fact that you were raised under apartheid, under severe poverty, in an environment of abuse. You can tell yourself that you live in the most unequal society in the world, but you dwelling on that, telling everyone about that, is not going to help you succeed in anything except being a victim. It may work in letting you off the hook of taking responsibility, but it will not work in getting you onto the train of success. Refusing to accept responsibility does not mean you are not responsible. You are responsible whether you accept it or not. And you know what? At the end of the day, whether you fail or succeed is your burden or blessing to carry or enjoy. You need to decide, do you want to come up with the best excuses for your failure, or do you want to do the challenging, necessary, often difficult work of succeeding despite the available excuses? It is up to you.
From retail, Lotta then turned to the one other job he knew he could get, driving taxis. For a chemistry graduate with 2 degrees, working at this taxi rank was at first a humiliating experience.
I was earning 100 bucks a day. So being there with those qualifications, it was actually frustrating, but less frustrating than I would have been at home sitting around and doing nothing.
This is not only valid to members of our society who have held onto the excuses of apartheid, slavery, racism, and the like. No, it is valid to all of us because all of us can achieve more than what we are currently achieving, whether as parents, entrepreneurs, spouses, employees, and so forth. But often we make excuses, valid or not, as to why we are not achieving that greatness. It's all good and well to celebrate the new year, but if we do not pause and acknowledge these facts, there is nothing new that will come with this year. Facts first, cry later.
But Lotta would make this job work to his advantage. During breaks, he drove to the library to search newspaper ads and apply for jobs. A year later, his persistence paid off when a Cape Town-based environmental consulting company invited him for a job interview.
Came in, he was a guy with quite a lot of drive and ambition, or actually a lot of drive and ambition. And even though it was touch and go with a few other people for the position he applied, we went for him because he had an energy about him.
And that became his breakthrough.
Many people are not financially successful, and their reason for this is that their salary is too low for financial success. But there are people earning the same or less with relatively equal expenses and life circumstances who are financially successful.
Today, Lotta Mayana is a specialist in air quality management for government, making sure our country doesn't produce disastrous levels of pollution. He successfully turned a nightmare job hunt into a career that benefits millions of people.
Many people are not maintaining healthy relationships, and their excuse is the trauma from their past. But there are people who experience similar or worse traumas who have ensured that their past does not spill into their present or future.
So what I grew up, the things that I saw from my side is that a woman is someone who's degraded. A man is always king. The man must tell the woman what to do, at which time and when and how. Negative patriarchy, you know, negative masculinity. I grew up looking at my father, pitching at my mother. That's something that a man should do. I have abused, both verbally, physically. That was me before I met the Father A Nation. Since I've been with Father A Nation, I've seen and witnessed, you know, life in a different perspective. How you treat people, how you should go on about on being your man. I want to bring about change in the young youth, young males that I see here in around my community because of what I see in them currently. They are being raised the way I was raised. They don't have that positive mentor, you know, a positive masculinity.
Many people have innovative ideas for society, but they are not working on making them a reality because they do not have the startup capital, networks, or experience. But there are people who have even less than what you have, who are less gifted, whose solutions are even less innovative than yours, but they are pushing with confidence and resilience and attaining success.
An opportunity dances with those on the dance floor. You gotta be on the dance floor for that opportunity to dance with you. Otherwise, the opportunity is not going to come to you to wake you up in your own bed to say, I'm a job, please take me.
It's far easier to say, I don't have enough money than it is to confront your bank statements, evaluate your expenses, and admit to your irresponsible spending. It's far easier to say my child is just not intelligent than it is to acknowledge that you're not putting in enough time and effort to read and do homework with them. It's far easier to blame apartheid and white monopoly capital than it is to acknowledge that you lack the experience, skills, and education to compete equally with your counterparts. Stop doing the easy thing of coming up with countless excuses and start doing the challenging, necessary, and often difficult work of succeeding despite the available excuses. Because the question is not what excuse do you have for your failure. The question is, do you want to succeed or do you want an excuse for your failure?
So, how I got my first opportunity in digital marketing was exactly like this, kind of. I was in a stage where it was end of matric. I knew that I was not going to university the next year because I knew that, during my exams, I wasn't doing well. And I started interviewing people via social media, Instagram lives. So I would approach business owners, celebrities, whoever I could get my hands on via Instagram Messenger. And I would ask them, hey, can I please do an interview with you? And then some of them would agree, some of them would say no. And then the one lady called Matapelo Pitsi agreed to doing an interview with me. And she was an entrepreneur in the women's shoe industry. So we're having a chat, we're talking about her brand, how she started, where she's going, what's happening. And then she mentioned that as a female entrepreneur, starting with a small business, she's running everything, she's wearing all the hats in the business. She's social media, she's, sales. And then I thought, hey, let me just approach her after the meeting. I sent her a message, hey, I'm willing to help you for free doing social media marketing. It's really an industry that I would like to get into. And then she crazily enough said, I will, let's do it.
Before we get into videos discussing what the comrades are doing or not doing, let's take time to face the man in the mirror. In the same climate where the comrades are engaged in incompetence, corruption, and selfishness, there are men and women who are achieving greatness. And no, we are not talking about the tenderpreneurs or the ones born into excess wealth. We are talking about simple men and women who are just like you and I. Let us make up our minds to be more like them in 2025.
And she said, hey, I can't make you work for free. I don't have a lot of money since I'm a startup, but I can offer you 2,500 Rand. So it was learning. I had to do Google Analytics, Google Ads, tap into other things, SEO, because now when people are searching on Google, it has to align with the SEO on the background of your Shopify sites. So it was not just front end, it is now back end.
They carry on to do big things, like how now you are working for the company that you work for is international. Am I correct?
Global. It is so big.
Yeah.
It is so big.
Yeah, it's a global.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is one of the
Yeah,
three biggest credit bureaus in the world. I was so
exactly.
astonished.
And if you don't know where to start, watch relevant YouTube videos, read the right books, get free online training, start associating with those people who challenge you and your excuses. Refuse to accept the mindset you have been working with all this while. Before we can beware of the comrades, let us be aware of the things that do not serve us. Say no to debauchery, the hate, division, the laziness, bad company, wastefulness, and communism. Let's adopt the good, positive, constructive things that work. Wishing you a very successful 2025, fellow citizens of South Africa, and everyone else who watches our content outside of South Africa. Thank you so much for your support from late 2023, all of 2024, and please keep supporting us in 2025. Your support is in the form of watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing. It's in the form of joining our channel membership or even our website membership, and of course, purchasing our merchandise. Thank you once again. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned, and until next time, beware of the comrades.